to Career Uprising. I'm your host and professional career coach, Lorraine Rise. Join me as I guide you through an amazing journey of self-discovery and empowerment. If you are looking for work, changing careers, or stuck in a toxic job, then this is the show for you. I offer both practical and spiritual guidance to help you up-level and advance your career. Let's start the uprising. Hey everyone, you are listening to episode 129, 2 job offers in 30 days, a client success story. Hey everyone, I'm your host, Lorraine Rise, and welcome to the show, or welcome back if you have listened to it before. Take a moment, please, if you haven't done so, and follow the show, subscribe to it on Apple Podcasts or however you like to listen so you get updated for new episodes. And if you are so inclined, please give the show a rating and review. I would very much appreciate it, and it really, really helps the show to be found and to grow. So welcome, everyone. So 2022 has been a record year for Career Uprising. We have helped more clients this year than we ever have. And I have to say, I have had more success stories this year, I think, than I ever have, which is really exciting, especially given that we are just coming out of a pandemic and we are heading into a recession. There's a lot going on. It's still a very heavy world. So I think it's amazing that we are having such success. And I think it's just proof of what is possible when you want to achieve your goals and you never quit. And that's what I love about my clients. So I also myself have really grown and evolved, and I've been stepping more and more into a CEO role and growing my staff. That way I can grow the business beyond what I can do myself. So I'm really grateful and just excited for the future with Career Uprising. And so with that does come change. So I want to let you guys know I am going to take, I think, a short break from the show after this episode, just for a little while, probably a couple of weeks, maybe 2 months. You know, I never know exactly how these things are going to go, but, I want to kind of focus on some other things. And it takes a lot out of me to do this show. And I love it. It's fantastic. But I think if you ask any podcaster, it's really hard to go a full year just pounding them out, never taking a break. It's very time consuming. So I want to focus on some other avenues. I'm going to be reinvigorating my YouTube and Facebook accounts. Those have gotten very dusty on the shelf. I've hired a social media marketing manager who's really helping me out to get my message out. So I'm going to be focusing on LinkedIn Live, doing live videos and broadcasting those, YouTube, Facebook, different places. So I would encourage you to join my network, join my email community, follow me on LinkedIn. I'm going to be not slowing down one bit, but I might just be on some other platforms, at least for the next couple of months, and then I will reassess. So just wanted to let you guys know that. So housekeeping items out of the way. In just a minute, I want to introduce you to yet another success story. This client is the latest to enter the Career Uprising Hall of Fame, as I'm going to start calling it, and become forever immortalized on the airwaves as a guest on my show. It's really one of my biggest joys to be able to kind of turn the tables and, and interview my clients and bring them on this show. Because really, at the end of the day, it's all about them. It's not about me at all. So this client in particular is very special to me because he's what I like to call a boomerang client. We worked together initially in 2018, and he landed a new job at that time, and all was well for several years. And then we reconnected again just a couple of months ago after he separated from that employer and was faced with another transition in his career. And like many of my clients, he's over 50, although he does not look it at all. He will fool you, but he's in the later stage of his career. And let's face it, it doesn't get easier as we get older, right? A lot of things get harder, but job searching is one of those things that can get harder as we get older. So I'm going to bring him on in just a minute, and he's going to share his story and tell you how he ended up getting not one, but two job offers in just about 30 days. How cool is that? When he told me that, it blew my mind. I was so excited. So if you ever need proof that you can get hired after 50, this is it. All right. So let's bring him on now to share his own story. Welcome to the show.
Hello. How are you?
I'm good. I'm so excited and fired up to have you on the show today. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Well, so why don't you tell our listeners just a little bit, whatever you'd like to share about your situation in your career when you first came to me just a couple of months ago. What was going on? What prompted you to want to get some help?
Yeah. So, obviously, my career is sort of focused mainly on project management with application development. And I know that, obviously we worked together in the past, and we were successful at that point. But one of the main reasons why I wanted to work with you the first time and again was the fact that whenever I'm faced with a job search, I feel overwhelmed. I feel, I need direction, and I need someone who's going to help me plan and kind of attack this huge thing, because you're faced with this big elephant all of a sudden. Bills have to be paid, and so many things are coming at you, and you think it's important to do one thing and then the other, and it's confusing. So what brought me to you was really having almost a one-stop shopping, everything all included plan to get me from where I was, at that point, which was no job, to kind of, get my resume completely intact and ready to go, to get my footprint and LinkedIn profile ready to go, to get a plan in place on how to attack, the job hunt and the interview process. So, yeah, I think that those were the reasons.
Mm-hmm. I'm a one-stop shop. I like that. Thank you.
That's it. That should be your next.
That's my new tagline.
That's it.
Well, truly, that brings up a good point, is that a lot of times people will come to me thinking, oh, I just need my resume rewritten or something like that. And they don't realize the value of the coaching, that it's so much more. And truly,
Absolutely.
the clients, that get the best results are the ones who go through the full process and let us help them beginning to end, because there's so many pieces to a job search. It is not just a resume or just a LinkedIn profile or just interviewing. It's the whole thing. And if something's broken in that chain, that's going to hinder you anywhere along the way. So it really is best to kind of run the whole gamut and let us just partner with you through the whole process. And you allowed us to do that, which is wonderful.
Yeah, and thank you.
Absolutely. Well, what did you feel like was the most challenging part of the job search?
For me, it was really putting yourself out there, and because there's just you're there, you're putting yourself out there up for denial, for review by people you don't know, and part of that is obviously accepting rejection, which is also very difficult. And it wasn't until that point that I started to realize that, like you said, there's a certain amount of no's to get to a yes. And once I was able to kind of get past that, that definitely helped my process. And I remember that you definitely spoke about that during several of our conversations. And I'm not sure if that was kind of a sales motto, or there was a book that was called How Many No's to Yes or something like that. But I know that there was a reference, and it was definitely on point.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. It could be. Yes. And I what I like to say to clients too is the right job will say yes. And it's true.
Right.
the right one. Just like I say that to myself too with clients, because I mean, theoretically, I face rejection all the time when people do,
It's
intro
crazy,
calls,
right?
and it is, but I don't view it that way. I just view it as it wasn't the right solution for them. But I know the right clients will always say yes. So for you, the right company will always say yes. I also tell people, you're not going to miss your destiny. Okay. You're not going to mess it up. The
Yeah.
right one will say yes. So yeah, I totally agree with you
There
on
was
that.
there was actually a situation that I remember that I was, and I think I told you this during one of our conversations. I went on a Zoom interview, and we get on, and the person that was interviewing me, within, I would say, the first five to 10 minutes, I could already tell by their posture, the way they were asking questions, that they were done. They were just not interested in moving forward. And I didn't think it was anything that I said. I didn't think that I was answering the questions incorrectly. It was whatever that person was looking for. I wasn't a match. And, I just didn't know, I knew it wasn't going to go anywhere. And the most important thing was knowing that it wasn't personal. It was just, the situation, whatever it was, that was it. And I had to just let it go and move on. And that's, really an important lesson.
Yeah. It's important to remember it's not rejection. It's just not a match. That's
Right.
it. It's neutral. Yep. That's a neutral situation. There's
100%.
nothing negative about that, but it is hard when you need a job and you needed it yesterday to not get frustrated by that. Yeah.
Yeah. And the rejection in itself is difficult. And I can imagine for many people, the job search is very challenging because of it.
Certainly. Well, and I know one other barrier too. A lot of our listeners are concerned about age discrimination, because that's my crowd. I always tell people, if you have gray hair, you're in the right spot.
Right.
Those are my people, right? That's almost all of who I serve. So what were your thoughts on that? Was that a concern or a barrier or a perceived
for sure.
barrier? Yeah. Tell me about that.
Absolutely. I would think that it's something, if we want to put all the cards on the table, it's definitely there. It's definitely in the marketplace. You have to come terms that it's there, basically. But just because it's there doesn't mean that you're not going to get a job. And that's the most important thing to remember. And going back to your phrase that you'll always get the job that was meant for you, it's not truer in any other case than this one. I think that you may have to work a little bit harder. You may have to just, keep going and maybe accept rejection a little bit more than, let's say 20 years ago. But I really believe that you'll find something eventually. It's just a matter of gaining past that attrition and getting a job. Yeah, I really do. So thank you so much again, because I think that one of the things that you taught me in your training and your course was not to give up and to really just follow this plan and method that you develop for success, and it really helped.
Good. Well, as I say to all my clients, you did the hard work. You did the dirty work. You went on all the interviews. But credit to you as well. I appreciate that. So, what was most, to that note though, what was most helpful to you in working with a coach and going through a program like this? Because most people I work with have never done anything like that. They've never hired a career coach. Maybe they've never even heard of one before. What is that, right? So they're kind of not sure what it's going to be like. What's the outcome? What was most beneficial for you in getting help and not going this alone?
I think it was several parts. One was keeping me motivated. That was number one. I think it was important to keep me in line with the program and following your steps and kind of going along with this program to get to an end result. And then during the course of the whole process is having, if I could call it a safety net, where, I was able to bounce ideas off of you, to ask you any questions or shoot you any emails and that sort of thing. even to the point where we were getting into, negotiations and that sort of thing. You even helped with that as well. So I think that it was helpful all the way through on those notes. And if I was on my own and I wasn't, if I didn't have that, I think it would have been a lot more difficult just to handle so many things coming at me at once and to kind of process some of the different situations. I think that there was one time where I had asked you for advice on a specific situation, and you gave me what to do next, and it worked out beautifully. So I would have to say that those are the items that were helpful.
Good. Well, you also achieved something that not every client gets, which is multiple job offers. So you had your choice. We were kind of like, should we choose this one? Should we choose that one? That's a great dilemma. And and you did it rather quickly, really just in a matter of weeks. We didn't work together that long, really. It wasn't like some months and months engagement. So what do you attribute that to? What do you think it was that you did or that you learned that enabled you to get multiple offers so quickly?
What I really learned, was that it's a numbers game. And what I did was I took your plan and I said to myself that I was going to try to make the numbers work in my favor. So I planned to at least make 10 contacts per day for as long as I could, and really try to start opening up. And obviously, you can talk about your method and how you do things, but I stuck to that plan of trying to speak to at least 10 contacts. It was a combination of people that I knew in the industry, people that I knew through friends, so that's friends of friends, and even people that I was trying to connect with that I hardly knew. There were maybe 2 people out in my circle of friends. So I made it. That was really my goal, every day to have 10. So by the end of 2 weeks, I think I had reached out to 100 people. And that's when I was able to churn the numbers. And out of those 100, I think I ended up with 8 interviews. And out of the 8 interviews, I was able to get two offers out of them.
That is awesome. And I love that you know those numbers.
Well, I mean,
you were tracking them.
Yeah, I was really trying. Yeah, because you always said to have a spreadsheet. You provide a spreadsheet on what to do and put down the name of each contact. So, yeah, and that was very helpful, because if you don't have that, you kind of get lost in the minutia, and it's a lot easier to feel frustrated, because honestly, by the second half of the second week, which was Wednesday, I really didn't hear anything. I didn't hear anything back. So I was like, wow, I'm doing all this work, because it's tough enough to make, one contact, and I'm trying to churn out 10 a day, and nothing was coming through. And I was like, wow. But then that Thursday and Friday of the second week, things started coming in. I was getting contacts. And then by the next week, but by the third week, I really started, getting a lot of contacts back, and people asking me, would you like to set up a job interview, or would you like to speak to someone else who is looking for someone with your qualifications, and we can possibly get you two to speak to set up an interview. So that was very, very helpful.
Excellent. Excellent. Yeah, no, you really put in the work and the time, and that's really what makes the difference, because, I can coach people and advise them on what they do, but they got to do it. And that's really a big reason why you were successful, because you did the work, and you have these great numbers. I mean, 10 a day is aggressive, and that's really what it takes. You have to take massive action if you want massive change and results in your life. You just do. I've had to do that in my life. Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely. And
I would have to say it was out of desperation.
Well, whatever the motivation, it doesn't matter.
That's right. Right.
We all act out of desperation, whatever motivates you.
Exactly.
That's good. Good. Well, so what did you learn about yourself in this process of changing careers or job searching?
As the biggest thing is that no matter what, I think that perseverance wins all. I mean, if you're willing to just stick to it, eventually you're going to win. Some people are lucky, but there's definitely luck involved sometimes in this. I definitely have to say that for me to get 2 offers in this short period of time was part of it was luck. But I really believe that, let's say it was extended, eventually I would have been successful and I would have gotten a position. It's really just remembering that you have to keep going. You can't get knocked down. You have to kind of dust yourself off and pick yourself up and say, no, I'm gonna keep doing this until I get it. And I know it's not an easy thing, but it's one of those things that once it's over, you realize that it wasn't as bad as you thought it was. And like you always said, I think you said in one of your sessions with me was that you only have to, it's like being a salesman, but you only have to make one sale. So it isn't like, you know what I mean? Like it isn't like you're selling vacuum cleaners door to door and you have to sell 3 a week to make a living. You just have to sell one, and that's yourself. And I always kept that in my mind, and that was very helpful too.
Awesome. Yes. I do say that a sales quota of 1, totally achievable.
Yeah.
And I'm going to just tag on one other thing or offer an additional perspective to something you said. You said you thought there was luck involved. And in my opinion, I don't believe in luck. I think we create our own luck. I really do.
That's true.
I think, and that's just my opinion, but that's just kind of how I live my life. But I don't think, a lot of people could look at me and say, oh, she's got this wonderful business and job. And I think it's not luck. I made it, right? You also made this happen. You did the work, you put in the time. I think that we're responsible for positioning ourselves to be, quote, lucky or be in a position to receive an opportunity. So I think that, and I think when we attribute things to luck, it takes the credit away from us a little bit. And I think that you deserve full credit for creating what happened to you. You happened to it. It didn't happen to you.
Got it. No, I mean, that's definitely, I get it.
Yeah. That's just me. So props to you. Awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah. For being on the show. And
100%.
Thank you to all my listeners as well. And the last thing I will just say is, if there's any advice that you have for job seekers and career changers out there who are listening, because they definitely are, and they're at the same age in a similar position to you, if you left them with one piece of advice, what would it be?
I would say if you're either confused, you're not sure what to do, or you just feel overwhelmed, give Lorraine a call. I think that she can give. No, honestly, I really feel that even if it's just an introductory call and you just want to see what I think that you're to give Lorraine a call, and she can kind of at least give you an assessment of your current situation and what program would be best suited, almost tailor-made for your situation. That's
you're sweet. That was not a pointed question, you guys.
No. I really mean that. So
no, you do. Yeah. You're one of the most genuine people I have ever met. So I know you do. Yes.
Yeah, I really do.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks for listening, everyone. For more shows like this, the easiest way to listen is on my website at careeruprising.com/podcast. As I said, I won't be back immediately for new episodes, but please do stay connected to the show through the archive. There's 129, as of today, episodes that you can listen to, and I do hope to be back very soon, and I hope that you all have a beautiful rest of 2022. That's it for today's show. Thank you so much for listening. If you like what you heard today, please consider giving the show a positive review on iTunes. It would mean a lot to me, and it would help to spread the word so that others can learn about the show. Thanks again for tuning in, and I can't wait to connect with you again next time on Career Uprising.
This show was brought to you by InflowRadio.com, the best curated talk radio network for personal development, wellness, spirituality, and conscious business.